So we're talking to Raymond Santana, who happens to be one of the what we know as, in the world as the Central Park Five. So we thank you for taking time to call us up, and
thank you.
Being that this is Wrongful Conviction Day, we invited Mrs. Archer to the studio, and she got in contact with you because she mentioned earlier that in this struggle you get to meet a lot of people who are going through the same thing. So we know that you've been in a situation. So just let the audience know, reintroduce yourself to the audience, and let people know your take on Wrongful Conviction Day.
Well, first off, thank you for having me. Definitely honored to be on the line today. My name is Raymond Santana, and I was convicted of rape and robbery in a case that became widely known as the Central Park jogger case. And I served 6 years, 8 months due to wrongful conviction, right? There was no DNA evidence to prove that we committed this crime. All there was statements that were made due to police coercion and prosecutor tactics, right? Misconduct. And so the real perpetrator by the name of Mateus Reyes came forward in 2001 to say that he was the person that really committed this crime. And so after a year-long investigation, the city didn't want to believe that it was him. But due to this investigation that was done by the DA's office, it was proved that this was the sole perpetrator and the only person who committed this crime. And as a result, we were exonerated in 2002, 13 years later.
So now, as a result of the exoneration, we were speaking about the process that it's not an overnight process. Even if there's evidence to clear somebody, it's not an overnight process. So now, with you guys, once again, thanking you for calling up, on this day. What is your involvement overall? Like, what resources do you know of that you can provide for people that have loved ones that are going through the same situation where they know definitely that the person, their family or friend, is locked up, wrongfully? What information can you give to, help them?
First off, I tell people that you're definitely right. It is a long process. It isn't done overnight. You have to be dedicated to the process. Seek counsel, seek an attorney that can help you legally and find out what can be used through those processes. Also, reach out to organizations like the Innocence Project, the Jeffrey Deskovic Foundation, right? People like that. These organizations are specifically geared to help people to help clear their names. But the number one I say is never give up. Never give up. I understand it's a long process and people get tired, but the whole key is to never give up. Keep pushing. Keep fighting. I have seen Jermaine Archer's name mentioned several times, and that's a case that we all need to look at and we all need to get behind, and let's start pushing on that case, and let's try to bring some justice to this brother because it's been too long,
And I'm gonna ask you could decline to answer this question, but it's gonna be a sensitive question. Now we know during the time when the case basically came up, one of the now I'm gonna ask a question. You could decline to answer if you want to, because I know this may be a sensitive question. During the time when the whole situation came up, Trump himself was they say is instrumental in getting the five of you locked up. Do you speaking to you and asked after the exoneration and time has passed and seeing him in his presidency, what is your opinion of Trump now and back then?
Oh, he's not gonna decline to answer that. He's very vocal about that.
Well, back in 1989, after we were arrested and charged for this crime, he put out these full-page ads in all the daily newspapers calling for the death penalty.
Right.
And so here was this man who people idolized him back then, right? All of our celebrities looked up to this guy, right? Everybody wanted to be Trump, right? Everywhere you looked at, he had all these businesses and all this real estate. And in our case, people just toss that to the side, that he called for the death penalty for 14 and 15-year-old kids,
right,
who were innocent. And so now, as we fast forward the time, through time and see him reappear and come back, when we were exonerated, he said that we were still guilty, right? And so when we sued, when we filed our federal lawsuit and we went against the city, and that took, literally 11 years to get settled, he said it was the biggest heist in New York City history. So this is a man who not just once called for the death penalty, but several times we have had this engaged, right? This battle with him continues and never stops. Right. And so now, we get to this presidency and all this stuff is being revealed about him. And we looking at the public like we've been told you. We told you since 1989 that this dude was full of it and he was nobody. But everybody believed the hype on him. Mm-hmm. And now look at all the dirt that comes out. Right. And it gets to the point of whereas when you think that we done heard it all, here comes something else, right? There's just a report last night, today on Anderson Cooper on CNN where, they're discovering that the New York Times has wrote an article digging into his history, how that small loan of $1 million is a lie. It was a lie. So it's like the stuff that's being uncovered about this man on a daily basis now is not new to us. He will always be hashtag not my president. Right. Always.
Yeah, just want to, cause I know it's a sensitive situation because, from the outside, looking in, yeah, we have, deep sentiments. We feel for what you all went through, but we didn't actually go through it. Right. And now, you're dealing with a situation now where you're living in a country where the president of the United States was the same person who was trying to get the death penalty for you, knowing that you wasn't guilty of the crime. And if the public opinion and the DAs agreed with Trump at that time, we don't know if any of y'all would be alive right now. Right. You think about that.
100%.
And
100%.
For being wrongfully convicted, we don't know if any of y'all would have been alive right now, or for somebody that wasn't involved with the case pushing so strong, like you said, putting ads out in the newspaper to get, like you said, 13, 14-year-old, children.
Children, right.
The death penalty, whether it's the electric chair, the needle, whatever they do in New York. And, this, like you said, fast forward years later, we might not even be having this conversation right now because the president of the United States called for the death penalty for people that were not guilty of a crime, that they were minors that was, so, so I know, like I said, it was a, sensitive subject. I just want to just get your thoughts on that. So, we thank you for being
and this is a man who can't show compassion. This is a man who never apologized. In his mind, in his eyes, we're still guilty. I mean, he doesn't vocalize that now because now it's different. It's under different rules and different circumstances, and he walks a fine line when it comes to that. But at the end of the day, we know where he stands.
Right. So any other thoughts you want to put out for the listeners out there?
Excuse me?
No, is there any final thoughts you want to give to the listeners?
The shameful plug.
I just, on this day, it's wrongful conviction day.
Right.
And what a day to celebrate for us. Like, sometimes you don't know whether to be happy or whether to be sad. Mm-hmm. Right. And you look at all these cases of how this happens over and over again, numerous times. And then there's so many people who are still in the system who haven't even gotten a chance. You know what I'm saying? And so, for the listeners, we ask that get involved. People think that rallies and marching is old tactics and it don't work. And I tell them, I said, you got to remember, this is a good old boys game. And this is what they respect. They respect numbers. If you rally and you march for a cause and you bring 5,000 people, you have a voice. You have power. Get involved in voting. People fail to realize how strong, our vote is, our power is, how much weight we hold in society. And at the end of the day, nothing moves without us. We have to be involved. And you need our numbers. In order to get our numbers and get our votes, you have to meet our demands. And it's a lot of demands that we have dealing with the criminal justice system, how police treat our people in the street, you know, and the list goes on and on. This stuff happens all the time and nothing is being done about it. And it's time for us, our listeners, our young generations to step up and put the pressure on politicians and those who need us and those who want our votes.
Right.
We got a list of demands and they have to be met. And if they can't be met, then you don't deserve our vote. You don't deserve to be in office representing us.
That's right.
You know, and our young listeners out there, you know, this is for you. You got to remember, and you don't know this because you're just walking through life and you're just living and you're taking it one day at a time and you're not really looking at the future. But you have to, because there's a game of chess that's being played. And that game is not to put you in the college dormitory for you to obtain a master's degree. That game is for you to occupy a jail cell, for you to become part of the budget so that these people make money off of us, warehousing us to work in these jobs that they provide that basically, you know, the stuff that they're making in these jobs are distributed throughout New York State.
And throughout the country.
It's excuse me?
And I said, and throughout the country, you know.
That's right. I like to focus on New York State because New York State doesn't have private prisons. They all run their prisons. And if you look at how, you know, you're talking roughly 70,000 inmates, and, you know, you look at a company like Hallcraft that makes all these products where they make optical eyewear, soap, they weld the chairs that are put into college classrooms and even in elementary school. So, you know, this stuff is being made, you know, the state is making money off of the labor of black and brown people in prison. It isn't just about license plates anymore. It's bigger.
Bigger, right.
And this is what they want us to occupy. They rather have us occupy a jail cell and make money off of us through the federal government, and also the products that we make, they sell and make money off of that also. So it's numerous revenue streams that are coming off the backs of black and brown people in prison.
Yeah, so once again, everybody, we're talking to Raymond Santana, who was one of the Central Park Five, as he mentioned earlier. You know, it was an infamous case. And, New York is known very well. You know, if you've been around for a while, you know that case very well. You know about the exoneration. So once again, we do appreciate you taking time out to call. Just praying that you continue to stay strong. I know that was not something that was easy to go through. I said, from the outside looking in, we could still feel it, but it would never compare to actually going through it. Mm-hmm. So we definitely thank you for taking time out to call us up today and, sharing your thoughts with us. I know you, well connected with Mrs. Archer. So thank her for getting you on the line.
Thank you, Ray. The last bit or two, but
definitely.
That's my brother.
Thank you for having me. It's been an honor.
No problem. Right, and thank you. Enjoy your evening.
All right, you too.
The Gallery every Tuesday. Miss Stacy, Nicole Renee, and Bad Man Benny.